welcome back to Whovian Espresso. Today I thought I'd do a sort of nostalgic video because I've been feeling quite nostalgic recently. When I say nostalgic, this is not that kind of old stuff. I mean, it's relatively old, but it all started when Doctor Who magazine posted issue 500 on their website, Panini, and I bought that because I didn't get it at the time. I deeply regret not getting it at the time. So I did actually pick it up, and me being me and not being able to leave that alone by just getting issue 500, I did go on eBay and I bought some back issues of Doctor Who magazine. I got quite an impressive haul here. I think at least more than 20 here, 20 issues. I believe ranging from 2008 to, well, they're not ranging, as in I've got issues from 2008, I think 2013, and some peeking into a little bit of 2014, and of course the issue 500, which came out in 2016, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, let's have a look at the first issue. I'm not going to go in too depth because these are magazines. I mean, if you want to have a look at them properly, you can probably just buy them off eBay. They still go for a reasonable price. I think in total for this entire lot, if you include issue 500, which they were selling at retail value, I think I paid about £34. Again, £10 of that was just for issue 500, which is well worth £10. The rest of them are all reasonably priced on eBay. Like, Doctor Who magazine isn't the kind of thing that goes up and up in value, but I do like periodically going back and reading these issues, just because I think it's nice to look back at these kind of things and to see what Doctor Who was like and compare it to Doctor Who magazine now. I can definitely draw on some different correlations to Doctor Who magazine. I think Doctor Who magazine was a lot more adult in the RTD era. I don't know if that's just because they relied very much on the fact that DWA wasn't a thing at the time. Like, it was really a thing at the time. Like, I think particularly this issue, which I'm going to bring now, it mentions that Doctor Who magazine was just going weekly for the first time, which I think it did for a while. I can't remember how long it did it for, but Doctor Who Adventures was very prominently a thing during this era of Doctor Who on television. Whereas I do think that Doctor Who Adventures became less of a thing in the Capaldi era, less people were buying it. I stopped buying it during the Capaldi era. That's about halfway through the Capaldi era I actually switched to getting Doctor Who magazine instead of it. But I used to be subscribed to Doctor Who Adventures, so I haven't had any of these issues. I do periodically. I bought the 2006 issues a while back, but I just like Doctor Who magazine. I love looking at some of the creative covers they do, some amazing articles from the time, and I like looking back to time before these episodes were broadcast, particularly to series 2 and 4, which are some of my favourites. Some of those seasons are some of my favourites. So it's interesting to look at them in the context that I would look at series 11 or 12 now. So yeah, that's kind of the reason, just sort of the basic reasons why I get it. But starting off, we have issue 391, which is exactly 9 issues before issue 400, which I have in fact got in this haul. I've got issue 400 and issue 500. I thought there was quite a nice synergy there. But this obviously is just after Voyage of the Damned, the issue that came out just after Voyage of the Damned. There's some very interesting articles here about Kylie Minogue and various pictures that they've had access to for behind the scenes, some of which I hadn't seen before. Just lots of interesting things here and there, lots of tidbits and information that I didn't really know. There's a very humorous interview with David Tennant, which is just a bit, yeah. But there's a lot of, it's nice reading the letters again. The letters are another thing that I really like reading, because it tells you what people were thinking about these episodes at the time, which is a lot. It's very interesting to me, because you look back at episodes from the classic era and you think episodes like The Deadly Assassin weren't as liked as you'd expect them to. So yeah, that's the first issue that I've got in this sort of haul here, I guess. Moving on, we have Calling Dr. Jones, or the cover story of issue 392 here, with Martha Jones, the Doctor, and the Sontaran. I guess that's a very interesting cover. I'm guessing shortly after Freema Agyeman was announced to be in Series 4. There is somewhat a very interesting advertisement on the back of this issue, but I haven't read this one. I'm in the progress of, I've just finished issue 500, but I'm in the progress of currently reading the issue 391, so I'm not going to go in too depth about the inside, because I don't want to spoil stuff for myself as well as if you decide to get these issues, because again, I really love some of the covers on these issues, and to go back to the era that I really love, and this is nice, this is a very interesting cover. This is Peter Davison, presumably shortly after Time Crash. I don't know, this would have been the year after. I think Time Crash was 2007, and obviously what's interesting to me about this cover is there is in fact a TARDIS, the TARDIS interior is in fact actually classic era inside a modern box, which I think is interesting. So yeah, very nice sort of stuff in here. I also, one thing I've noticed from just getting the Doctor Who issue 500, I looked at one of the things they noticed that there's actually jokes in the copyright section, which I've went back and actually I've got my entire bundle of Doctor Who magazines my lot that I do actually have at the moment, and I actually looked back and read all of them, and some of them were quite interesting. But yeah, the next couple of issues are actually for issues from when Series 4 was on, including the issue that came out in the month within my sister's birth. So we're going to have a look at that in just a minute. So here we have it, issue 394 here, and that is a lovely cover. And this actually there was a clean version of this cover that came in a poster, which I got later on. I'm not going to show you the posters because they're on my walls now, but it's a lovely poster. I've got this one just above my bed because I really love this image. It's such a lovely promotional picture. I love how you've got Pompeii on one side, you've got the Ood sphere on the other. It's just a lovely cover. Such magnitude coming from this cover. Such an explosive cover. It's one of my favourites, I think, of DWM in its history. I think it's just a lovely cover. It really encapsulates those early episodes of the series for me. I really just love that cover. Moving on, we have issue 395 with pesky Sontaran on the cover of the Clone Wars. We've got Jenny there from the Doctor's daughter. You've got the Doctor looking like he's thinking. And the Sontaran's looking very grumpy. I like the colouring of this. I think I like how they sort of use vibrant colours as the header for all of these issues, because I think at the time it's very funny. The colours that they always used were always very vibrant lighting, and it's one of the few things that the RTD era got wrong, was the lighting was constantly bright blue or bright purple or bright green. It was always a bit off-putting for some reason for me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, but it's just, particularly with the promo images you got for Series 4, you got these bright sort of like worms or flashes of light coming towards the Doctor. I don't know if I can. He's on the inside of the steelbook. I think if we get to this cover, I'll point it out to you. These sort of streams of light. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit hippie, I suppose. The lighting, Series 4. I think they did it in a couple of other seasons. I don't know if I've noticed it in any other season apart from season 4. But yeah. Moving on, we have issue 396, and there you go. That's what I meant. Those streams of light thing that is coming out of these weirdness. But yeah, this is an interview clearly with Billie Piper, who I think was probably announced to be returned before this series actually aired. But here she is anyway on the cover. But I think it would have been nice to keep it a secret. I don't know if they did at the time, because I was what, 3? Yeah, but the issue I think I mentioned it. But the issue with back and forth on the cover, that issue that I really liked, but that is actually the issue that came out when my sister was born. I think I was 3 at the time as well, but so again, I wouldn't have probably been even getting these issues at the time, so it's quite interesting to look back at it. That's the free poster that I mentioned as well. It's a nice image of of Rose and Donna there, actually. It's quite nice. I don't think they actually visited London in Series 4. I'm not sure. I think it gets mentioned, but I don't know if it actually, any of it takes place in London. I know Chiswick is not far from London, but I don't know. I guess there were references to London, but yeah, that's that issue. Probably only got Steve Pemberton, who obviously features in The Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead 2-parter, one of my favourite Doctor Who stories. So that's a nice cover there. Concluding, I think, the previews before Series 4 ended. This is a very interesting cover, the Bad Wolf cover. This is sort of strange because there's no Doctor Who labelling. It's all Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf, which I think is funny because it's obviously supposed to replicate. I think it came out, this must have come out the day after Turn Left, I think. And obviously the TARDIS is Bad Wolf, got written all over it. Presumably it's a message from Rose telling them the stars are going out and whatnot. But it's a great cover, again, a very explosive cover. Some of these covers are some of my favourites that they've done in a long time. And I really do like it when they try and do these clean covers as well. You get more of them now because I'm a subscriber to Doctor Who magazine at the moment, so you get clean covers if you're a subscriber. So it's nice to look back at some of the other earlier versions that we got. The person who sent these to me didn't send any with polybags in or anything, but you know, it's nice to just I've got in the issue 500 you can see them with their polybags on, so it's quite interesting. But I do try and keep my polybags. But yeah, I think that was the last one that was going out when Series 4 actually was airing. So moving on, it was a bit of an annoying one because I'm going to lay it out on the floor. because this person has sent all 4 variations of the cover, which I'm going to just have to show you because it does look very nice. So there is a lovely look at my floor. Yeah, I basically, because there's 4 variant covers because the finale had such a large cast, but I love how they've sort of made it join up. So if you see K9 sort of goes onto the other side, so does the TARDIS, and if you look, I think Mickey's hand sort of goes over there, so does Martha's, and Bernard Griffin's. I like how it all adds up to be a massive mosaic of the entire cast of that epic finale. I think that's probably one of the best things going for that Series 4 finale, is the huge wealth of characters within that epic, brilliant finale by Rossiter T. Davies. Rossiter T. Davies is probably technically last finale. I think it's definitely one of the best finales. I don't know if it's best in terms of episode quality, but I think in terms of the fact that it all adds up. In the same way, I don't think Endgame is a particularly good film. I think it's a pretty bad film, actually, but that's just me. I know a lot of people like it because it is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. And again, a lot of people like this, and again, it was popular because one of the most viewed episodes, and certainly I think it's the most viewed finale at the very least. But clearly, the world that Rossiter T. Davies built up was much like the MCU in the same way that Endgame is sort of. So it's nice to have a representation like that. I remember when, I think it was Infinity War, they did a similar thing where they had all the different covers with all the different superheroes. So I think it's nice that the sort of correlations between the MCU and the RTD era are quite funny for me. But yeah, that's just a lovely sort of lineup there. And I think they've got boasted interviews with every single actor. And I love how, oh yeah, another thing, I noticed that they subtly changed every character in the corner. So you got Harriet Jones, you got Davros, you got Francine Jones, I think, if that was her first name, and the Supreme Dalek. So, like, nice subtle little changes, and also the quotes on the spines. They have quotes on the spines, but they all have quotes from the main characters here, so that's nice. I think that was a nice touch as well. So yeah, a nice batch of covers. I've never actually thought to collect all of these variant covers. I always usually just get one, but I think it's nice that they're all lined up like that. It sort of makes getting all the 4 covers worth it, so it's quite a lovely idea, actually. Moving on, we have this lovely cover. I think this is a nice sort of, I like the colour, again, the bright purples sort of represent the Sontarans in a way, I guess. But I think this is a nice cover with Donna, the Never Forget quote being quite prominent because obviously Donna loses her memory at the end of Series 4. I'm looking forward to reading this because I don't think I've ever read it, an interview with Catherine Tate, so it'd be nice to read a little bit about her perspective of the show. I know she wasn't necessarily a fan before she was on the show. I don't know if she's even a fan now, but she would probably have a very interesting perspective on Doctor Who, I'd like to think. So I'm looking forward to reading the interview in that one. So yeah, moving on, we have another issue. This is probably one of the more interesting issues. We have issue 400, which again came with a lovely poster, which I have put on my wall. I think this is a really nice issue. I love the cover. I love how it's sort of endless circle, sort of like endless loop of David Tennants reading one another. I think it's a really nice touch. And then we've got an exclusive preview of the Sarah Jane Adventures, which I used to love. I used to watch it every time it was on. I'd watch it. It was great. I mean, I always watch Doctor Who as well, but it's just lots of great shows. I love the whole worlds of the RTD era. It's just the way it comes together. But yeah, and there's a nice poster which I've also got on my wall. So yeah, issue 400 there. Lovely little. Nice little cover. So that just about wraps it up for part 1 of this video. In part 1 I have discussed the issues from 2008. I will discuss in the second part, which will be up soon, issues from 2013 and also issue 500, which is probably one of the best issues of Doctor Who magazine of all time, so I'm very excited to share that with you. But until then, thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like down below, comment your favourite issue from 2008, or well, this isn't all the issues from 2008, there's a couple of other ones, but tell me your favourite episodes from 2008 or whatever. Tell me like what's great about 2008. I don't know, but it's one of my favourite years for Doctor Who, so yeah. Subscribe down below if you want updates on upcoming content and reviews, including the 2013 Doctor Who magazine issues, which will be up very soon, I'm sure. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.